All right, good morning, folks, and welcome to our broadcast. Good to be here with you this 25th day of August. And folks, if we were ever on the home stretch for this election, this is it. This is the home stretch that we're on. Good to have all of you here with us. And of course, I'm happy to be here with you this morning. And, you know, we have a week left. And while we're in the city today, I'm happy to be on, and I beg your indulgence for this few days left in this electoral cycle. God forbid we have a stretched out election. Suffer it to be so that we'll be on while we can and covering the other aspects of the campaign from the ground. What we love to do, really and truly, love to be on the ground, but sad to see, because we're not as advanced technologically in the broadband and reception and all of that in the various parts of the country, we can't come to you all as live as we'd want to. We could try, but we'd be buffering and all of that. But let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear this morning, wherever you're joining us from. Good to have Trevon and Aubrey and Sharma and Sandra. Good to have Deborah Pearson with us this morning, and all the other folks who are joining us today. So much happening in the politics, international, with bearings on Guyana, and of course domestic, as we watch to September 1, general and regional elections, and what's happening in the campaign, plural, in the campaigns. You know, interesting piece of analysis out of Sabbath News this morning. We shared some of that with you, and we've been keeping you abreast what's been happening in the APNU campaign and what's happening in other campaigns as well. And folks, I'm so happy to be here this morning. I've been on the campaign trail with our Prime Ministerial candidate, Director of Finance, and trying to cover some of the other things as well, and just had a blast seeing lots of this country being in airplanes flying to and fro, and boats, and on feet and on foot, and in vehicles. We're just happy to be here with you this morning, looking you all in the face and in the eyes this Monday, the 25th day. Folks, it means we are, 6 days out, 7 days out? 7 days out from the general and regional elections. And of course, the incumbent, the PPP, you have to understand that these boys ain't gonna just roll over and give up, that we got to dig in and continue to put the issues before the Guyanese people. And I don't believe there's any other political party, any other political entity that is equipped to do that in this time and this political season as the Partnership for National Unity is. And that's why I have hitched my wagon to the APNU coalition, because I believe that they offer Guyanese the best ideas, solutions, promises, commitments, moving this country of ours forward. But there's room for all of us. There is room for all of us. There is resources for all of us. And that's why I don't understand, as you traverse this country and you hear the concerns, Marlon, you hear the concerns, Grace and Teresa and Linda, of our Guyanese brothers and sisters across the ethnic divide. Voice their concerns. Economically, that's the number one thing affecting people in this country. Trillions of dollars being spent, Gwyneth, Joseph, Marlon, Brenda, trillions of dollars being spent. But Guyanese not seeing the return. They're not seeing, their lives transform. Roads and bridges are good, and I should qualify that to say that quality roads and bridges are good. Infrastructure is good. But improving the lives, the quality of life of our Guyanese brothers and sisters outside of those issues are equally important as well. Right. Now, sir, tell me if I'm wrong. To say it in a Guyanese way, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, Angela Ben and Taylor Jones and Neville and Ann. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. People want to see their lives improved. They want to make a difference. And so, sir, Trinidad and Tobago, the government weighing into what's happening with our border matters, not broader matters, but border matters. Trinidad, the Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisesha is saying that in what the opposition, and this is the Prime Minister Keith Rowley said just this morning, giving the Americans a blank check. You want to use our country for any staging exercise against Venezuela? Sign us up. Sign us up. And former Prime Minister Keith Rowley pushing back this morning by saying that it's too broad. We used to meet with our CARICOM brothers and sisters to discuss the role of the Americans in the region, and the UNC, United National Congress government in Trinidad and Tobago, according to the PNM's Keith Rowley, former Prime Minister, says you give the Americans a blank check to do as they wish. Long term, his argumentation is that it doesn't augur well for the international relations approach which concerns the United States and their role in the Caribbean. So he has a long view of it. Just putting that out there as some of the things happening, some of the things that are happening. So there's lots that's happening. And, I'm happy that in the face of all of that, we have a person like Aubrey Norton, because this is his sweet spot. He has a few. This is one of his sweet spots. International relations, worked in the sector, worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and understand these issues. Like Irfan Ali, Jagdeo, Nandalal, Ashni Singh, Uchad, combined, could not understand these issues. They were trying to get Mr. Norton to go along with them to Argyle. Norton said, no. You got to get us a number of things, a number of your ducks lined up in a row before you engage Maduro at the level of Argyle. This is when they went to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You remember the Argyle Agreement? What happened to that? Whatever happened to the Argyle agreement? What happened to them? Restraint is what Norton said. Maduro never respected it. That's what happened to it. It never respected it. And then they take a sellout, a buyout, like Raul Gonzalez. Remember, he was the interlocutor? The interlocutor? Well, he got a price. He's been bought and paid for. Time's over. Bought and paid for. He has been bought and paid for. What did we get for the investment in Argyle? Nothing. Because Irvin is a punks. He's a punks. Where those issues are concerned, he ain't no goddamn thing. But you know what? He like flashing lights. You know? And now we're eating out of Maduro's hands. But is that a coincidence? Or is there a deeper connection with Irfan Ali Maduro? You know? Is there a deeper connection? You know, Trump and Putin? Is there a deeper connection? Restraint, Irfan, restraint. Remember back January with the channel out? We ain't still in no territory. And people got to earn your attention. Don't go, Irfan, not him. He fly to Argyle. What did we get from it? Even after Argyle, the man give Maduro gold. He gave you gold bracelets and bangles and chains and rings. The most expensive rum. You know, DDL is selling a bottle of rum for $500,000. All you remember? I'm not a rum person per se. But sometimes when these guys, with all these scandals and decadence and decay, I think about it. I don't mind sampling a little bit of that 500,000. That rum gotta be different. You know, 500,000. He gave all that. A couple cases well to Maduro. You think Maduro will get drunk and say, all right, I relinquish all claims to the Essequibo. He gave him a black cake with more rum. More 500,000 rum. Mr. Norton said, restraint. Orphan. Restraint. Not him. Not him. Fools rushing. They say we're angels there. Years ago, I watched a fantastic movie introduced to me by my mother. Big shout out to my mother if she's on tonight. This morning, rather. If she's on this morning. You know. We're eagles there. It's a whole movie by Clint Eastwood. I found it fascinating as a teenager watching this flick. We're eagles there. Fools rushing. You know. He rushed to Argyle. Norton, calm and composed. Irfan. You're making a mistake. Hold, Irfan, hold. Pull back, pull back. Pull back. But he ain't listening. He ain't hearing. He ain't hearing at all. We're going to have, I know y'all is listening. Y'all is listening. Sometimes. Y'all know that. How y'all doing this morning, folks? Happy to have each and every one of you on the live with us. It's such a privilege. You know, it is such a privilege. I hope that you all are good and well, wherever you all are joining us from this morning. I hope that you wonderful, beautiful folks, you all are good and well. Good to have all of you on the live. You all know how we say it. Oh, colloquial way. Margaret Nelson. Margaret Nelson. Delon and Leon, and good to have you. Marcia. Great to be back with all of you folks. No, not because we're not catching up to some of the other stuff happening. Folks, do us the big favor. Wherever you're watching us from, whichever page or profile, platform, please and thank you. Share the live for us. Share. We want others to get the valid, incredible information. Margaret says he was fat fouling. Yeah. He was fat fouling. We're watching recently, folks. We're watching quite recently the public meeting rally at Hopetown. They were having too much fun without me. I find so. I'm vexed with them to that extent. A little too much fun without me. Yeah. And if we can tune in, wherever we are in the country, if we can tune in, we tune in and listen to. Didn't get a chance to tune into Hopetown. I think we were either traveling to Region 10, been into Tacoma recently. That's our last sojourn. Been into Tacoma, went into Ibini, and then we went to Kokwani over the weekend. Been to Kokwani, Tacoma, Ibini, Kokwani, and that brought us back to the city. And so we were catching up to what was happening at Hopetown, and a little too much fun, if I can say so myself. A lot of truth, being proffered there. And I love some of what Vince Roy Jordan, the chairman of the PNCR, APNU PNCR Region 5 operations, right? Yeah. Hold on, folks. Take a pin. I see we got former Finance Minister Winston Jordan. Winston says, "We're Eagles there," starring Clint Eastwood, Richard Burton, fantastic actor too, Richard Burton. Iconic in his own right, Richard Burton. My Lord, the comments are going by so fast. And is it Mary? I don't know to pronounce his last name. I'm not even going to try. And Mary. But I was fascinated as a child. I watched that movie countless times. Some of you are saying, "We're Eagles there?" What is that? I watch a lot of Clint Eastwood films too. Other films as well. You remember Dirty Harry? Another classic. But "We're Eagles there" really, really piqued my interest as a child, being introduced to that film by my mother. Watched it countless times. Another film I watched, perhaps in some equal frequency and quantity, was A Lion in Winter. Peter O'Toole and Katharine Hepburn. I was an old soul, young. I say young, but an old soul. An old soul, right? So Margaret, we got teams. Margaret asking if we touch Kimbia. Margaret, we're gonna touch there and some other places in the Berbice River as well. Had a beautiful boat ride in the Berbice River to Ibini and back to Kokwani. Enjoyed it. You must see this country. Folks, there are a number of tour packages. Don't just walk and dead. Don't just walk and dead. See this country. They got a number of tour packages. Going different places in this country. Some of you are walking, it's just pressure. Everything going in medical expenses. For your one good foot, for your back, your eye, your shoulder, your neck. Sometimes you just need a little change of scenery. You see somewhere different, all them ailments melt away. All those, if they got a number of tour packages, you're going to get inquisitive, man. Don't sign off life as yet. Get a little inquisitive. Number tour packages, always advertising on Facebook. Go see somewhere new and different. Please and thank you. I sure got a tour package in the Berbice River. You see, like Margaret says there, Ibini and Kimbia and you call some of the other places, man. You're more bright than me. See some of those other places. I'm seeing a couple in my mind's eye. Right? Brenda Casey say, watch Clint Eastwood every day on a show, Rawhide. You know, I gotta check that one out. Rawhide. We're gonna have all of you on the broadcast this morning. MP Finance is on the live this morning. Former MP, Prime Ministerial candidate Rita Finance is on the live this morning. Says we're a week away from E-Day, and we are voting solid for APNO. Go to the front of the class. Finance, you go to the front of the class. You don't bother nobody else say. Go to the front of the class. Right? Solid. That's how we voting. Not a little solid. We voting solid. Go to the front of the class. Our Prime Ministerial candidate, Rita Finance, on the live with us this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No doubt herself. No doubt herself getting sorry about that. Sorry about that. No doubt herself getting some respite from weeks of travel. And thank you so much for being on with us this morning. Weeks upon weeks of travel. You know, she's been on it and we've been on it as well. But all the speakers at Hopetown were fantastic. All the speakers at Hopetown were fantastic. But I remember in a conversation with our Prime Ministerial candidate, she said, because she, I think, was at Hope. Yeah, she was at Hopetown. She said Vince Roy was just different at Hopetown. I said, well, all the more reason why I got to go back and watch the whole public meeting there at Hopetown. But I just queued him up and, you know, listened to my brother from another mother. You know, he tries to look like me, Vince Roy Jordan from Hopetown there. And Vince Roy had a lot of things to say, folks. Take a look at some of it and take a listen, and we're going to see you guys back on the other side of it. Take a look, take a listen.
Progressive Party Civic, they are the very people who from the brink of taking government, they killed our sons, and we cannot afford to vote for the People's Progressive Party Civic. Hear me when I say Region 5. Hear me, Region 5. When we vote Joel and Isaiah, their bloods are on the ballot. When we vote Harry Singh's blood is on the ballot. And so when we make the choice, Region 5, we have to make the choice wisely. How can we go back? How can we go back? I say to you, Region 5, I see us as Moses leading the people out of Egypt. I see us knowing that there is prosperity on the other side. I see the PPP behind us. And I see that when we come out and vote as one, the waters will come tumbling on the People's Progressive Party Civic, and we will make it through to victory. We can do this, Region 5. Now I understand what it feels like to be hurt when you lose a loved one. But it is even more devastating when people think that they can just murder our children cold-blooded. I remember that night, that dreadful Sunday evening, when we went to Cotton Tree and we brought out those two young men. When I hit their bodies, they were knocking like a piece of board because their bloods were drained. And tonight I say to you, comrades and friends, we cannot forget the day the People's Progressive Party Civic killed our children. Keon Fortuné is on the ballot. Quindon Bacchus is on the ballot. Orin Boston is on the ballot. Adriana Young is on the ballot. So because they are on the ballot, we cannot vote for the People's Progressive Party Civic. Let me tell you something, Region 5. I mean business. And I know some people, they're contemplating. You're not here, but others are contemplating whether they will go blue. But I have one question for those who are thinking about going blue. Where was Asridin when the Henry boys were murdered? Where was Asridin when Quindon Bacchus was murdered? Where was Asridin when Orin Boston was murdered? Where was Asridin? And I announce to you tonight, Asridin was in the belly of the beast, the wicked, stink, and dirty People's Progressive Party Civic.
Welcome back, folks. That's some of what Vince Roy Jordan said over the weekend at Hopetown. Yeah, it's a lot of fire in his belly there. A lot of fire in his belly there. As I said, folks, Judy said to me, you gotta listen to him. Please do listen to Vince Roy. Vince Roy is a little different. A lot of questions there that needs answers. A lot of questions there that need answers. And one of the other things that Vince Roy talked about was the healthcare. And boy, he's talking about what hospitals are being built, and Bath Regional Hospital, and so on and such and so forth. But, I think it was Forbes Burnham. I think Winston Jordan might know this better than I do, our former finance minister who's on the live with us today. I think to roughly paraphrase what Burnham said, it's not important just to read what is on the line. Read what is between the lines as well. So they got these big projects, but when you go down in the fine prints, when you go between the lines of the fine print, my God, it leaves a lot to be desired. And I see Deborah says that the preparation that the Hopetown meeting was lit. Brenda Casey, I saw saying that, dynamic speakers in APNO, right? Brenda says he was fired up, ready to go, no doubt. Here's a little more about what Vince Roy said concerning healthcare, what passes for healthcare, the health sector in Region 5, and he knows these issues intimately, living at Region 5. Yeah, he knows them acutely. Take a look, take a listen.
National Assembly for 5 years, and we talk and talk and talk, and some things that we asked for Region 5, we never got it. But I want to talk about one thing. You see that hospital that they built? You and I know that was a coalition project. You know that it was designed to be built at Unvowact. And you know that the People's Progressive Party Civic, the health minister, they don't know geography. As a matter of fact, they don't like read. They don't like study. And so they built the hospital in a place called Narstighyde. But I figure it's because some of them can't spell nor pronounce the word, so they name it Bath Regional Hospital. Nonsense! Nonsense! But hear me. Hear me, Region 5. We don't have a problem with them building the hospital. But if you're building an hospital for our people, then you must build one that can function. You hear me? And let me tell you how there is past people in Region 5. Those wicked jagabats brought over 30 Bangladeshi nurses, medical professionals to work at that hospital. If you didn't know, you know tonight. And they are paying them far more than they are paying our local nurses. I am saying to you that when you vote for an APNU government, you are voting so that we can return fair treatment to all our public servants by giving to them 35% increase in their wages and salaries and ensuring that they have jobs across Guyana. And no foreigner must come and take their place. But hear me, at the very hospital, they have 3 operating theaters, 3. And the hospital opened just about a month ago. And today, not one surgery was performed in the hospital. They don't have the medical personnel to work in the hospital. We gotta vote and vote this incompetent government out of office.
We got to vote them out. That's what Vintroy is saying there. That's the record. That's the record. We're not fabricating that. That is the record. And they got to run on that record. They have to run on that record. You can't run from it. Right? You can't run from it. And each side got their own records to run, their own questions to answer. And as Vintroy put there, number of questions, number of things happened in the nation's history over the last 5 years. September when the PP came in, the Henry Boys happened, 2020, September. Harris Singh happened subsequent to that. Where were you in all those issues there? When Troy says, in the belly of the beast, enjoying the sweet. Friends fall out now, and it's different. It's different. I have a sense where this is going. You've been around politics a little bit. You have a sense of the ebbs and flows of it. And I have a fair sense where it is going. I want to be surprised if the pattern we've seen over time changes. I want to be surprised. But we can know. As I said when we began, we're in the final stretch. Final week of this. Prime Minister candidate Rudy Fernand says, we're voting solidly for APNU. Don't split the vote. No vote splitting here. Now, I didn't intend to go back to Hopetown. Plaisance happened last evening. I saw the presidential candidate, Aubrey Norton, saying, I want debate these boys bad. I would debate Irfan and Jagger together. Bad like that. He bad like that. Together, he would debate them. Right? I listened to some of the Wins campaign last evening in Bartica. Right? I got a report on it to y'all. So I listened to some of it. I listened to the presidential candidate for about 41 minutes. And my God, that was painful. It was a little painful. Right? You see, if you move past hype and so on, and you start looking at substance, this race is as clear as day. If you move past hype, right? But I guess I can accept it in a certain context because of the age in which we live. But it was 41 minutes of very painful listening. So I don't know how he would fare. But Norton said I would debate all of them one time. One time. One of the things I admire about Mr. Norton, Aubrey Compton Norton, is how he can speak extemporaneously. Only a few politicians can do that, You have to understand the issues at the back of your hand. You have to have a lot of gut instinct in your belly. You gotta feel it there. And you gotta be around a little bit. You can't just land, And even some people who might have been newer to politics, they're inquisitive, they're curious, and they might read a lot. That could help you. So far, read a lot. But I didn't sense there's that aptitude. I know some of y'all might be winning and listening to me right now, but it is what it is. It was 41 minutes of painful, very, very painful listening. Right? And I still trying to understand what was said. I was a little confused even when the presentation ended. Right? It was so. DJ gonna play some music now, and we're gonna do something. That's how the presentation ended. The DJ gonna play some music. You know, I don't wanna just make light of people for the sake of making light of people. But I would hazard a guess that running a country is serious business. I would hazard a guess running a country is very, very serious business. You gotta go again and speak. You gotta go and CARICOM heads a government meeting and hold forth. Anything other music to play to help you through? And you gotta stand up and speak. You may have a speech, you may got a teleprompter, what have you, but you gotta bring something to the table. Mr. Norton don't carry no notes with him. I noticed that with him as a speaker. Right? But I can understand how you can do it. You have in your head, because you deal with the issues on a daily basis, you have an outline in your head and you're following that. Right? And he can go without any notes and just speak for 41 minutes. Makes sense. You know how? Makes sense. Speak for 41 minutes and makes sense. A lot of folks can't do that. Here's some of what Mr. Norton said at Hopetown. Some of the pronouncements that he made, some of the commitments that he made to Guyanese at Hopetown. Folks, take a look and take a listen.
All of you who believe that the FREC that is Gale or the Debad contract, and I call it a Debad contract because the rail contract that is get to themselves, their families, and their favorites. But when they come to you, they suddenly decide the best place for you is the gutter. And some of us so stupid, we celebrating a gutter contract. Nothing is wrong if it was done equally. But you take the best for yourself and give to ordinary people the crumbs. We are saying to you that we want to see you have a better quality life. And I want to say to the soldiers and policemen, they have already voted, and I think they voted for us. But I still will say to them that when a government takes you out of your profession to put you to clean gutter, the eyes pass you. And I could tell you, if you look at it, you will see who is best suited for the gutter. Just watch Jack Doe every Thursday and you're going to see a gutter rap performance. Every Thursday he comes and he behaves like a gutter rat. We will not allow anyone to continue to treat us with contempt. We believe all Guyanese are equal and entitled to benefit from our resources. I want to say to the young people that an APNU government will give you lands for agriculture. There is no reason why the price of local food should be so expensive. It is expensive because the government doesn't care. The government doesn't invest in agriculture. And so they got minister linked to smuggling chicken. Mayor linked to smuggling chicken. If you want to know if something is going wrong, look to see if it is red. And if you want to know if something is clean, you know it is green. We are not afraid of them. We are not afraid of them. We can tell them. We can tell them that we have a clean slate. Nobody in our list has charges against them. The PPP, they take some of them from we or they went. And if you check all of them, they're like battery, they got charges. Who ain't get charged $1 million house sale, get charged a beating wife, and we could run the whole list. It is not a government they have a battery. It has to keep that charging. We are saying to you, we are offering you a set of people who are qualified to govern this country. And when we say to you, Dr. Todd, when we say to you, Dr. Williams, we are talking about people who within the confine of the law studied and achieved their qualifications. The people with the talent doctor on the other side are patients. You have to be a patient if you can't show us the university you've been to. The hardest task facing this government is for them to get a finale to point out the university been to. It's the only university I know that nobody can see. People search the whole eye flat and can't find it. But even if they find it, when you hear him talk, when you hear him operate, you know if he went to university, that university had to be the University of Dens. It could be no other one. We are saying to you, we are offering you quality candidates. We are offering you candidates that are competent. This government likes to talk about they deliver this and they deliver that. The only thing I know they deliver must whoever they take out from the president belly make it get slim. Because they have not delivered half of the things they talk about. They failed to deliver on the gas to shore. We were to get it in 2023, 2024, 2025. Now it's gone to 2026. They have delivered nothing as yet. They promise us a fiber cable, a fiber optic cable that will give us connectivity, and Guyanese will get internet wherever they are. Until now, nothing. Do not be carried away. Do not be carried away by the nonsense they write on the board. We built 12 hospitals. All the hospital got his patients. No doctors, no nurses, no drugs. I heard some people say, I think I know bathroom. Well, I know, but if you say so, you so. The point is, they are building these buildings because it allows them to get corruption money. Somebody said to me, if you want the PPP run and hide, put light. They don't like people see what they're doing. You put light around them and it's flight. We have to change the corruption. When a government is corrupt, people live in poverty. We are saying to you that our major task is to take you out of poverty. We want to see you progress. And there are a number of things we said we will do to take you out of poverty. We will create employment. We will put young people in business. We will have cash transfers. We will give children 2 hot meals. We will ensure that there is a national school transportation system to take our children to school.
That was leader of the opposition and, of course, presidential candidate for the APNU coalition, talking on a number of issues there at Hopetown over the last weekend. And, of course, you know, Pleasance Line Top meeting happened since then and all of that. And we're going to have other broadcasts to show you guys clips of that. But a lot of important issues there. Mr. Norton speaking extemporaneously on all of those things without missing a beat. Like that. He said, I want to debate all of them. All of them. I saw Jamaica had a election debate yesterday. They have elections on September 3rd. They go to the polls on September 3rd. Andrew Holness called a snap election there in Jamaica. And they're like us, they're in campaign mode with that general elections being on September 3rd there. Had a debate last evening. Real classy debate too. Real classy. That's what people interested in democracy and the contention of ideas. That's what they do. Countries who are interested in that. Nothing, boys. Jack Joe running from a debate. If I'm running, they know who to bat for. They know who to bat for. Well, I don't think Win is going to want to be part of that. And I don't see it. But an interesting, as I said during the course of our program this morning, an interesting analysis by Sabbath News. We shared some of it on our page, and you can go through it on Sabbath News website and engage that for yourself as well. A number of things happening, and of course, you heard the APNU presidential candidate Aubrey Norton, who I'm voting for on September 1, making the arguments there. And one of the things he said is that some half-baked project. Ventroy said it too. Them boys don't like studies. Them boys don't like reading. They like them pronunciation, enunciation. That's not a sweet spot. Thievery. All right. Now we're talking with them. Now we're talking for them. But they like the heavy lifting. And so they start a plethora of projects with no hope, no intention of concluding them. Right? But they give you an impression as though they're doing so much. They're doing so much. And as I said, we are now back in the city for a couple of hours. Having gone to so many communities, Region 1, Region 7, Region 9, Region 10. And you listen to people, you look around to see what's going on. I said, I have big things. Roads, contracts given out, never started. Kakwani get a half road. A half road from the waterfront. Does not go finish before September 1. They had no intentions. Election coming, so let me start something. 3 landings, wharves in Region 1. One of them halfway in the Port Kaituba River there. It is falling. Get tired of falling. And they're building it. A lot of half-baked project. You know, vice presidential candidate Mahi Paul, Ganesh Mahi Paul, who and I been to university together. Himself, Jurita, yours truly, we all were at University of Guyana together. Right. I never seen him by the side. I was classmate with Irfan. Irfan says he has a PhD. I've never met a soul that says we sitting in the same class. I was the classmate. Is either they're ashamed of him or just it didn't happen. It did not happen. We went looking at one of these half-baked projects, expensive. Over the weekend, yesterday to be precise, we went looking at one of these half-baked. It's not a lie, Mr. Norton telling. He is slandering nobody. He's not libeling anybody. It's the truth. I learned as a student reading law and passing too, that a defense to the tort of slander and libel is the truth. You can't libel and slander people if it's the truth. The thing can be proven. It's factual. A defense. I remember that. You see law lectures, I fail y'all too much. Right? A lot of people always ask, why didn't go on and practice? Well, hold on, man. Life ain't finished yet. You're not now teaching. You know? Lost a couple, but some still coming out. You know? So we went to look at one of these half-baked $8 billion. They said a building a government complex. Now this was another coalition idea. Another coalition idea. I remember we had when I was welcomed in the Alliance for Change in those days, wasn't persona non grata then, wasn't kicked out, expelled. Wait, as a badge of honor. Remember we had an executive meeting in Linden, and it was David Patterson, minister in government at that point, who showed us a plan how they were going to take some of this land in south of the city, where it was just cane field then, and they're going to build these government complexes and move most of the government offices in one area. Seeing that go down by finance, and then catch a car, 2 vehicles to get up by Ministry of Health, you know? Free up some of the space in the city. Bring all the government complexes, buildings, services in one area. Right? So you go downstairs to finance, you come upstairs and it's health. You go over, so you go across the street and you get public security or whatever it is, home affairs. This was 4 years ago. You know, well, 5 years these guys in government, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Fantastic plan. This is not theirs, you know. They come in, they see the blueprint, they had money. They say, all right, let me look like we're pursuing this thing here. And they went in that direction. Right. Ganesh and I met up yesterday to look at this half-baked. You see, listen to me. That's why you don't get worried, you know, too much. There's only so much they could copy, but they can't execute the thing, the vision that you have. People might watch you, try to copy. You know, they said imitation is the highest form of flattery, but it can't work the way you work the thing. Right. Minister Winston Jordan is on with us. He would never appropriate money in the National Assembly for a project, and the project never happened. Here is Ganesh and I just yesterday talking about this particular project. Take a look, take a listen. So as you who are now joining us, we are folks with Ganesh Maipal. He is going to be one of our vice presidents in the new administration come September 1. And Ganesh will tell us why we're here and where we are.
Well, since 2020, Sherrod and viewers, to now, we have been exposing corruption. And we have been showing how this government has been wasting taxpayers' money. Behind us is a signboard that says the construction of government office complex, design and build. And in 2022, a total sum of $2.6 billion came out from the 2022 budget for this project. $2.6 billion. In 2022, Annette Ferguson, myself, and several others, we were searching for this project. Where is it really going on?
Yeah.
One time we heard it was at Kingston.
Correct.
The next time we heard it somewhere at the Heroes Highway. Then a third location. And then they finally said here. That's 2022. $2.6 billion. That money came out from the budget. In 2023, $4 billion came out. So that's 2.6, 4 billion now in 2023. 4 billion. Still can't find the project. So after $6.6 billion,
Wow.
project cannot be found.
Wow.
That's 2023.
Wow.
2024, $1 billion came out. Same project, $1 billion. 2024, we searching, we still can't find the project. Here in 2025, in fact, we had budget 2025 in January of this year.
Since such a long time ago.
$1 billion again came out.
More money.
$1 billion. We still couldn't find the project. Now we found the project. After $8.6 billion from 2022 to now, we now find the project.
And what does the project entail?
It entails the construction of 4 12-story buildings to be dubbed as office complexes an office complex. The complex has 4 buildings in it. And that is where they're expected to move ministries and so on to this location. But our concern is after $8.6 billion, this is the current state of the project. So when they ask us where you're going to find money from to give public servants 35% salary increase, where you're going to find money from to give senior citizens $100,000 as their pension, where will you find money from to raise the income tax, to raise minimum wage to $200,000, to reduce income tax threshold and have it at 400 to the ceiling, at 400,000 and below, no tax. It is by us not wasting money on projects like these that cannot be completed in a timely manner, that is costing taxpayers more dollars, and there is no evidence to show where $8.6 billion have been spent on so far. Look at that. Can you tell me if that looks like $8.6 billion?
I remember.
But here, bigger than that, there are several projects that private people did between the years 2022 to now that are completed.
And some of them are right along.
Started, yes.
Yeah, right along
and
this
some of them started after 2022. But we gave this here,
the incumbent.
This year we gave,
The installed
2022 we gave 2.6 billion, 2023 4 billion, 2024 1 billion, 2025 1 billion, a total of 8.6 billion Guyana dollars.
Yeah.
And look at the state of it. If this is not corruption, then you tell me what is.
Danish, I'm happy that I was there when the Honorable Minister, when Edgel was asked several times about this project, and he kept maintaining that mobilization is being done off-site. No, you can't mobilize the foundation and so on off-site. What do you make of this at the core of it?
I believe that this was a way of handing money to a company and then the company giving them back to facilitate what we see happening in our country right now. All the flags that you see, all the billboards, all the psychological warfare, the buses that are fetching one group of people and bringing people together from all parts just at one location to make a crowd look big. All of these things call for huge sums of money. And I believe that this government has been awarding contracts to several of their friends, families, and favorites, giving them the money in advance, and then the money is coming back into their account, and they're using it to expend, to create an impression, an illusion, as though the people are with them. But Sherrod, I have been in this game long. And I am telling you, 2015 I saw bigger crowds than what I'm seeing now for them. I saw bigger crowds at Wakenham. I saw bigger crowds at Kitty Market Square. I saw bigger crowds at Rose Hall. I saw bigger crowds and they were unseated. in 2015. They were unseated. This psychological warfare that you see going on, where they think they're going to put up the biggest flags, where they think that they're going to fetch people, they're going to get all kind of technological buses going around with digital television screen displaying the three jagabats.
Yeah.
It would not work.
Yeah.
Corruption
It's just
in
a
this
waste
country,
of the people's money.
it's a waste of taxpayers' money, and corruption in this country is beyond measures. We are committing to the people that we will ensure in government there is proper oversight, proper accountability, and good governance, because protecting the people's money is more important than anything else right now. Stronger systems, stronger structures, so that we can guarantee the people a better future, a safer Guyana, a Guyana where we can all prosper and we know that we can hand over to our children a brighter future.
Excellent. Now, part of what we've been talking to folks about on the campaign trail is this wanton mismanagement of our state resources and the fact that they've been siphoning off to get back into the campaign so they could do all of these lavish things. I wanted to, as we're on this issue here, to pick your brain on, for instance, what the Carter Center said recently in that pre-election statement about all of these ribbons that are cutting on the eve of an election and how unfair it is to other parties who are contesting. That we understood that in politics, about a year out, you stop announcing big projects and so on in an election year. What do you make of the statement?
It is abusing state resources too, because they are moving into where these projects are with state resources. They're sponsoring buses, sponsoring boats, using state apparatus to move around and simultaneously campaigning. This is the administration, this regime, the PPP regime, in their manifesto of 2020 promised in their manifesto to have campaign finances laws, campaign financing laws. I raised it in the National Assembly. I said, annual weather day. He said, it come in. And we're back again at another election and still not here. There's a reason the PPP would never move to have campaign finance laws in place, because they have a modus operandi, they have a way in them where they give to the contractors, the friends, the families, and the favorites, and then the same family and favorites gonna give back the same way they collect, and then start the projects yet. Then start the projects. You check 2025 budget. All of those big projects, not about, I would say about 7/8 of those projects have not commenced as yet, but monies have already been given to the contractors. And you're going to see that those same contractors, they're going to come back when we come into power and say that they had to give the PPP the money. Well, listen to me. Peter does got to pay for Paul, and Paul does got to pay for all. And all of the contractors who have engaged in such behavior, they will have to face the penalty that comes with it. And we are all about ensuring transparency, accountability, and good governance. And we cannot have situations where accounting officers in the respective ministries facilitate such movements. They will have to also face the consequences. Guys, if you want good governance, if you want accountability, and you want transparency, you've got to vote these people out, or else you wouldn't get it.
And I can't have our vice presidential candidate, Ganesh Mai Paul, here with us and don't pick his brain on a couple other adjacent issues, because as you're talking, so many things come into mind. We believe that one of the reasons why they are fighting so hard is not because of the love of people and country. It's to stay connected to the money. They have tasted the sweet like the dog that sucked the egg, and they don't know nothing else. That is what this big fight is about. Is that money, number one. And number two, you talk about projects like this, and we've argued for a long time that the further out you go, it's more the corruption is. Region 1, for instance, that we just came back from, we saw a lot of projects that are happening that would not finish in this 5 years that are falling apart. We saw the stelling at Port Kaituma. Half of it is falling into the river. There's another one in a place called Independence, right there in Mabaruma. There's another one in Marijuana. The posts are leaning and falling apart because the same thing. Substandard work,
coupled with corruption.
Families and favorite being given these contracts. You don't understand. You know it better. The geotechnical stuff, the riverbed and so on. And
And
so,
that's what happened
wastage.
with the pump station that Critic got. The $870 something million pump station. They didn't do any geotechnical survey. They didn't study the material at the bottom there, the earthen material. And that's why Critic got the contract. Nothing has been happening with that contract. 870 something million dollars. 200 and something million dollars went to his pocket. So when you ask where we gonna get the money from for do we work, it's from them same projects where y'all give out that is riddled with corruption. We will not have that. But I want to talk about something else.
Correct. Go right ahead. This is how we're going to put people first.
Yes.
Through scaling back on this kind of corruption.
Exactly.
Eliminating, mitigating and eliminating this kind of wanton corruption.
Sherrod, almost all of these ministers of government, they own apartment complexes. When you walk around and you look around, and we're going to go at one just now, and you're going to see how this building is so big, owned by ministers. You know why they're building apartment buildings? Because they want the ordinary people to continue to rent from them. And a burden that ordinary people have to constantly face is to pay a rent every month. Well, we are saying to the ordinary Guyanese, we are saying that if you are working for below $400,000, if you are working for below $400,000 and you're 18 years and older, you will get a free house lot. So you can begin to construct your own home. And when you begin to construct your own home, if you need financial assistance, we will have a developmental project that will put money into your hands to construct your dream home. Those who have the option of going for the rent to own, you will build it at your likeness and you will pay that same rent back to the government. And when the total cost for the house is completed, the house is your own. This government project, because all of them, they have apartment buildings and the ordinary people got to be dependent on them to constantly pay for apartments and pay rental. We don't want our people to be renting, we want them to own.
You're telling me these folks know they're coming out, so they've already packed the bags
yes, they already
make
established themselves and make themselves nice. They don't make themselves nice. If you see apartment right on the Heroes Highway, you pass down the Heroes Highway, you're going to see some big monstrosities, apartment buildings going up. That's how the rich intend to keep the poor poorer. Because the rich is all about having the poor spend behind them to keep them rich and get them richer. Well, we're saying time has long gone for the rich to get richer and the poor to get poorer. We want to bridge that gap. We want the poor to also get rich and we want the rich to stay rich. So it's all about lifting everybody together, not one set depending on another. And you got small cabal of rich Kavakamites and you have a greater base of ordinary folks. Unfair, Sherrod, unfair.
The rising tide is what the Vice candidate is saying. The rising tide, that is the upno, as you said, will lift all boats. And we've said it throughout this campaign. Friends have had the time, favorites have had the time,
families have had the time. It is now your time.
Putting people first. That's what this is about. So them boys, and using apartment buildings, and that's just a tip of the iceberg of the ownership. Some of them got shares in companies and all of that, and that's why you see particular development is happening along certain business corridors. It's facilitate the friends, family, and favorites, and all of that.
It's not by accident they graded down the people at Mocha. It's not by accident they dug holes and buried poultry and animals. It's not by accident they actually took bulldozers and excavated out people from there. They want that space for other people. But when you pass that same area, just look on the other side, you're going to see the monstrosity of apartment buildings I speak of.
And the houses that were at Kinjibaka were not in the path of the road,
not in the way.
Just the same way Adriana Young was not in the pool. The houses were not in the road. But having said that, I want us to close on the same Carter-centered note, which spoke to corruption basically and an unfair advantage, use of state resources during this election campaign, and all of that. Now, it is striking when these election stakeholders, let's call them that, international stakeholders, had said things about the last election. Oh, these were the first folks to glorify it and so on. Now I see Jack New cussing Carter Center. Wow, what a difference 5 years make. Talk to us about that.
But Sherrod, you see, that's the unfair way in how
the meddling now, the meddling now in the banks and this and that.
All I want to say to the Guyanese people is that if we are to endure 5 more years of these people, we will have nobody else to blame for the unfair treatment than ourselves. Our vote is our power. Our vote is about restoring dignity to ourselves.
5 years
Our vote is all about empowering ourselves. Our vote will depend on whether we put ourselves first or we put them first.
Yes.
We have to decide what we will do with this powerful piece of equipment that we have. And that is our vote. Our vote is our voice. And if we don't use it wisely, the consequences will be ours to face.
Ganesh, I say I'm wrapping up, but like a good preacher, is finally. No, I don't think there's a stark example. You mentioned Chipoe Group and the pump station at Bellevue and so on. There's a starker example than what happened yesterday. Here is this assault captured live, live on social media. And typical of the PPP, nothing much is done. A man is given a slap on the wrist and he gone. Just like the Bellevue contract. He was not supposed to have that contract. A little slap on the wrist, if anything, and he's gone. This is PPP protecting the friends. The very man who was in the studio with critics is a man who gun butt a woman in a supermarket in Bath.
Yes.
They fly out the country. Kevin Lorimer, another one of the Stern supporters. He was supposed to be in jail for 9 months. He's scotch-free. They put the self first, the friends, the family, and the favorites. Ganesh,
criminals.
Here.
I looked at that thing yesterday, and I said to myself, "Is this the Guyana we want? This is the Guyana we want. This is the Guyana we want our children to grow up in, where certain people feel they're so empowered and emboldened to commit those kind of acts in front of national television, in front of social media for our small children to see. This is the Guyana we want to give them." Now, I'm not picking up for the Mad Max nor the Mad Max Pro. I'm not picking up on them because, as far as I'm concerned, both of them were out of order. But the question is that the Guyana you want your children to grow up in, where they both can operate like that because they both believe they have friends, families, and favorites on their sides to protect them? A vote for Mad Max is a vote for Mad Max Pro. Just know that.
Don't split the vote.
Don't split the vote.
Thanks very much, Vice President candidate Ganesh Maipal. It's a privilege being out here with you for 5 years, always on these issues. Thanks so much. That's going to do it for us, folks. And that's our time, and that's our broadcast. Stay safe. All right, so that's where we were yesterday, folks, talking about that issue there. 8-point-something billion. I see some of y'all doing the maths yourself. You say it's more. Well, y'all know we can go with the maths. Y'all know we're not good with the maths. Y'all say it's 9 million. Is how much? It's $50 billion. A lot of money. A lot of money wasting. Folks, do us a big favor. Share the broadcast before you go. Smash that emoji button, and y'all know, we would love to run and watch it. Naomi and all the other folks, we would love to run and watch it. Share the broadcast, smash that emoji button, and partner with us as well so we can keep on keeping on. When we started this program 5 years ago, we didn't know we'd still be here. We didn't know we'd still be here 5 years later, right? And if we are to do this for another 5, we need so much more resources, People always believe we get so much money here because we got a fairly big audience. We got 1,100 persons watching us now between Facebook and YouTube. We got 860 something on YouTube right now. We got 200 plus on Facebook. And people say, "Well, my God, if everybody give $20, y'all doing well in the show, man." Well, we wish it was like that. It is not. It is not. We understand the times we're living in. Things tight. People rather buy a bag of bread than send us $500. Just the way things are, Please and thank you. So we'll be grateful for your support. That's the short of it. Smash that emoji button for us too, and share the broadcast so that others can get the valid and credible information. We should be seeing you guys this evening as well. We're looking forward to that. Thanks for being here with us this morning. It's good being back for a day or two. That's our time this morning. That's our program. Thank you, Upright Youth, Bridge Mohan, Naomi, as usual. Thank you for being on our broadcast. Penelope, Deborah, and all the other folks who are here with us. It's a privilege to have all of you, and it's become the privilege to be here with you guys in the morning, watching in your eyes. Boo Boo and all, Deborah, Ali Cock, and Rastaman, all the other folks. That's our time. That's our program. Stay safe. Stay safe. See you guys on the other side of the day. Stay.
Thank you.